to the 9/11 War Room, a weekly roundtable discussion that takes place every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in at 911warroom.com.
Welcome to the 9/11 War Room. My name is Gene.
My name is Sandra. Today's Sunday, July the 5th, and it's episode 242.
Hope everybody had a 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. First news story, episode 242. This comes from the University of Scranton, a Jesuit university. The Royal News. University launches Royals Remember 9/11 initiative. And I had to look up what Royals, or Sandra said, what Royals are they talking about? Some of you may have known this. I didn't. I had to grok it. That's the name of their mascot, the Royals and the Lady Royals. Their mascot is Iggy the Royal Wolf, named after St. Ignatius Loyola, founder of the Jesuits. Okay, so there it is. So this news story comes from those people. The university recently launched Royals Remember 9/11, a new initiative that will mark the 25th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 attacks. As part of the project, the university will reintroduce Making Meaning of 9/11, a first-year seminar taught by Teresa Gritano, PhD, Associate Professor in the Department of English and Theater, to assist current students' efforts to understand the multifaceted legacy of 9/11. Most of today's students were born after 2001 and know 9/11 only as history, Dr. Gritano said, though both academic programming and broader campus initiatives through that, we hope to help students understand not only the events of that day, but also profound ways they shaped our nation, our communities, and our lives. Plans for the project include taking students to the 9/11 September, or the National September 11th Memorial Museum in New York, and hosting the Feel Good Foundation, an organization that assists emergency personnel and educates elected officials and private entities on the issue faced by first responders on campus. So you can be sure that's going to be all corporate, mainstream, official propaganda. But there it is. So if anybody's in that area, you might want to pop in and say a few words. Next news story. As Mamdani pledges transparency for 9/11, lawyers say some records weren't saved. He said, Mamdani, 34.2 million of the 125 billion budget had been set aside to create a public portal of documents about the city's investigation into the air quality in Lower Manhattan after the terrorist attacks nearly 25 years ago. He says, quote, "We will provide the transparency that New Yorkers living with post 9/11 health concerns deserve," said the mayor. Also in the budget is $4 million for the Department of Investigation for an ongoing inquiry and to find out what the city knew and when regarding the toxins in the air in Lower Manhattan. Now, not everybody's happy about this. I mean, that sounds great and everything, but there's something to it. In this article that further talks about it, a chief titled $40 million for 9/11 document discovery release included in city budget, but city continues stonewalling in court. So there's an organization called the 9/11 Health Watch, and I'm going to a little reading here. But despite committing to the new portal, Mamdani administration is continuing to stonewall advocates for 9/11 survivors and responders suffering from illnesses in court. The same day that Mamdani announced the budget agreement, the city lawyers filed once again for legal proceedings filed by 9/11 Health Watch seeking to release the release of documents via a Freedom of Information law request first filed and to be dismissed. The Article 78 proceeding filed by 9/11 Health Watch after the city delayed its response to the 2023 FOIL request more than 10 times and then denied the group's request in March, saying the court filings that the city had no relevant documents to share. Request that a judge order the city to search its archives with more diligence for a hearing on the scope of the city's search and more. But the city has repeatedly sought to throw out the Article 78 proceeding, arguing in legal filings filed June 30th that the city has conducted reasonable and diligent searches and not found relevant documents pertinent to the FOIL requests. So I love this last part. 9/11 Health Watch would be happy to applaud the mayor's action as well, but we still have questions concerning the law department's intentions after they filed a motion to dismiss the 9/11 Health Watch's Article 78 court case just hours after announcing the online portal. Shavat said in a statement. We still remain hopeful that Mayor Mamdani can be the mayor that will answer the questions. The question, what did the city know about the health hazards posed by the World Trade Center contaminants, and when did it learn that information? So the saga continues in New York about the reprehensible dust and its effect on the people there. So keep an eye on that one. And just a heads up, we're still getting lightning flashes and things. If we disappear, the power went out and we'll be back on. Hang with us. This news story from the Observer. It says Brett Kavanaugh named a panelist for 9/11 lecture. The panel will discuss the personal experiences and legacy of September 11th, 2001 on its 25th anniversary. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh will be joined by University President Emeritus Edward Malloy, President of the March for Life Education and Defense Fund Jeannie Bradley Lichter, and Notre Dame trustee James Dunn III for the 5th annual Jeannie Poole O'Shaughnessy's Memorial Lecture on September 11th. Panelists will discuss their experiences of the 9/11 attacks. That's just interesting. Panelists will discuss their experience of the 9/11 attacks. They weren't there, I don't think. I have no idea what they will talk about. But the lecture, hosted by the Center for Citizenship and Constitutional Government, will take place in Leighton Concert Hall in the DeBartolo Performing Arts Center. While free, the event is ticketed. To further reflect on the 25th anniversary of September 11th, 2001, the CCCG is collecting remembrance recollections, anecdotes, and photographs from the community to honor those who died and recall personal experiences from that day. Community members can give permission for their recollections to be posted on the center's website and social media. So if anybody is in this area, South Bend, Indiana, that's where it's going to be. Maybe you can pop in and say a few words there as well.
Not far from Chicago?
No, not far from Chicago. That's that news story. Next one from the DC line. Kathy Patterson, the mayor, she says the mayor and council are killing a key commission created after 9/11. The DC Council created an expert advisory panel in the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. This year, the mayor and council have agreed to kill the district's Homeland Security Commission, despite solid successes during its 20-year history. And the article goes on to talk about all these successes they had in COVID and letting people know about COVID and keeping people safe and blah, blah, blah. And it gets down to the bottom and says, the decision by the district's elected officials to bring the end of the work of the Homeland Security Commission in the midst of war, in the wake of flooding here and elsewhere, and immediately after chemical disasters in California and Washington state, brings to mind the conclusion of the National 9/11 Commission, which said, we believe the 9/11 attacks reveal 4 kinds of failures in imagination, policy, capabilities, and management. And of these, the commission wrote in its report, the most important failure was one of imagination. So just utterly ridiculous, and goodbye to another group that just didn't need to exist. So na 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 na, hey, bye bye. Next news article. From NNY 360, performers sought for powerful 9/11 drama. This is behind a paywall, so I can only get a little bit of information, and this may have already happened, but in Watertown, Spoken Word of Northern New York and Watertown Lyric Theater will host auditions for their upcoming co-production of Brian Sloan's powerful drama, WTC View, from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday and Tuesday at the Strand Theater. But I can only guess that this came out on the 29th. That the Monday and Tuesday they were talking about was the 29th and 30th. There's a chance it might be tomorrow and the following Tuesday, but if you wanted to be part of that. It's an intimate, deeply moving play about the weeks following the tragic events of September 11, 2001. And I soon can't read after that. So if you're interested in that, there's that. The 9/11 Legacy Foundation launches national curriculum in time for Independence Day with plans to be featured on Freedom 250 website. And this is alarming because I still feel very strongly that the problem we're having is these new generations coming up. We're not getting the 9/11 truth to them, and the propaganda and mainstream news are still flooding them with the official stories. So this is one of those websites where we had visited a while back, and you had to put in the word the 911legacy.org. So we used the opportunity to just use 911 Legacy because some people might forget to put the word the in there. So we bought that domain name, and it goes to our website, which looks at the Presidential Commission on 9/11, a call for an independent investigation. So I'm going to create a subdirectory called /curriculum because in this news story it says, if I can find it again, let me read. The 9/11 Legacy Foundation today announced the launch of its national September 11th curriculum on its website, the911legacy.org/curriculum, with plans for the curriculum to also be featured on freedom250.org, the official website celebrating America's 250th anniversary of independence. Beginning July 1st, 2026, schools, families, community organizations, and civic groups across the country will be able to access the Foundation's comprehensive curriculum, including engagement pathways, leadership stories, and lesson plans. The curriculum, which spans 5 pillars of learning and is designed for audiences from kindergarten through adult, offers a range of entry points into 9/11 education and remembrance. The Foundation's engagement pathways give participants tools to connect with the legacy of September 11th through their own communities, local memorials, firsthand testimony, and the stories of individuals who led under extraordinary pressure. If you go to their website, we took a look at this a little bit. Again, the911legacy.org/curriculum. They did a fantastic job putting this together, I got to say. You can take one of the find the right lesson plan for your audience: elementary, middle school, high school, college and civic, church and community, workplace and groups, families, and other audiences, which they're going to continue to build and expand on. The 5 pillars of 9/11 education, history, the world before 9/11, the 93 WTC bombing, the rise of Al-Qaeda, the September 11th timeline. They're really doing a fantastic job at something we should be doing as well. So just a heads up on that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that. There's a lot of that going on. We see that also with the museum at Ground Zero, how they're investing heavily into promoting quote unquote education on 9/11 and giving free access to students under 18 and all these things that they're building and basically supporting to drive home the narrative. And, I think they realize it's a generation later, and they want to make sure that they got the message where they want it to be. It might be a generation that's waking up and asking questions or not prepared to buy the official story. So they've got layers and layers and layers in place to make sure that everything's covered. And
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into it. Trying to get through the news before 5:20. I might be able to do this still. We'll see. Next news story. This is from the Legion, Canada's military history magazine. If you guys could mute, please. Whoever that is. All right. Canadian Eric Findlay on overseeing NORAD's 9/11 response. Here is the gentleman. He says, when I ended up in NORAD as the director of operations in 2001, I was promoted to major general and tried to learn as fast as I could. I think it's one of the guys that they had just like newly hired. I forget that it's been too long since I've been down in that road, but they put all these new people in that would have not had any idea what to do. And that's not no idea, but they were new. He says, I have been involved with NORAD before, but it was still a new environment, and we were still in the process of getting to understand what some of the issues were when September rolled around. It was an interesting time because we were into Exercise Vigilant Guardian, which was a global strategic exercise that was usually held in November, but that year it was held in September, a move dictated by several circumstances. Wish he would elaborate on what those several circumstances was, but he didn't really get into it. He says here at the end of the article, for me, seeing the towers collapse was the hardest thing to watch. But then to drive home from Cheyenne Mountain that evening, listening to what people were discussing on the radio, that was also quite impactful. How it had affected the psyche and resolve of the people of the United States. Shock and awe. That was it. So if anybody wants to dig into him again, I might do that. This was Canadian Eric Findlay. Next news story. Sandra was going to cover this.
Yeah, it's not much of a story, really. It just had a funny parallel. It's 25 years later, 9/11 Day aims to transform the anniversary of 9/11 into America's Day of Doing Good. So it's so it says here, in observance of the upcoming 25th anniversary of 9/11, the nonprofit 9/11 Day today unveiled sweeping plans to unite tens of millions of Americans across political, geographic, generational, and cultural lines in the single largest day of doing good in American history. It says, our goal is to transform the 9/11 anniversary for all time into an annual moment of national reflection, unity, and doing good in tribute to the 9/11 victims, their families, and the many first responders, recovery workers, volunteers, and military personnel who rose in service in response to the September 11th terrorist attacks, said the president and co-founder David Payne. We want to reclaim the day. And it just made me chuckle a little bit because
That's what we do.
oh, well, yeah, we do that anyway. But at the upcoming Turning the Tide conference, which we can also look at a little bit in terms of some of the things that are planned and that are playing out. David Cole, John Cole, sorry. John Cole is going to be working on a little video where he is basically going for a proposal to 9/11 into National False Flag Day. And of course, we're not going to get that from the authorities. They're not going to designate that. But if we can, start rallying around it, not just 9/11, all false flags, that would kind of like be in contra. Actually, it's not really. I mean, you can walk and chew gum, right? You can do a lot of good to honor the victims and everyone who, felt the impact that day. And you can also call it out for what it is. So, so I guess, and it's funny because, I mean, every single day is a national something day. And I saw like 2 days ago on Friday was National Disobedience Day. Which I fully support. It was just by pure coincidence that I came across that. But if you pull it up, it's always a hoot because today, July the 5th, is National Bikini Day and National Workaholics Day, and also Graham Cracker Day and National Apple Turnover Day. So in case you needed to add that to your knowledge, there it is.
All right. Yeah. Couple of news stories to get through. Again, we'll get back into talking about Turning the Tide event when we open up the table. But one of the speakers is going to be Roger Waters. He was just on Jimmy Dore. The International Center for 9/11 Justice did an article on it. If you want to check it out, I made a little 2-minute clip from it, and I'd like to share that with you right now. So here we go.
Since, a few weeks after 9/11 happened, anybody with a IQ above room temperature started saying, hang on a minute, there's something about this that looks fishy. And there was, and there still is. But I'm prepared to admit that I said almost nothing for years because I understood that I would never be taken seriously about anything if I started saying, all these physicists and architects who are telling us that these were controlled demolitions and have nothing to do with aeroplanes flying into them or burning jet fuel or any of the rest of the story that we're told. We would have been laughed off the face of the earth. But now we have an opportunity in England, which is, I think that's the reason why we're talking tonight. A friend of mine, Matt Campbell, whose brother Jeff was unlucky enough to be in Building 1 when the Twin Towers came down. I nearly said fell down. They didn't fall down.
Right.
Were demolished that morning. And he is trying to open an inquest to find out who killed his brother and how. And this is the only legal operation to investigate it. There's no question. Nobody will ever allow one in the United States, as we know. So England, it looks like the only chance. So we'll see how we get on. The hearing is in October, and we're fighting all the way to make sure that happens.
So what is this?
This is the event that you're both doing in September.
Oh, and on September in New York, we're both doing turnthetide.911.org. So I'll be there. Maybe, hopefully, I'll get a chance to meet you. That would be a big thrill for me. So
We will shake hands.
yes. So that'll be this September in New York.
And that'll be great because I've seen Roger 4 times in Pittsburgh. Love Pink Floyd, my favorite band. And it is 5:20. It's a good time. Let's just take a quick pause here for a quick prayer for 9/11 justice. Let's go. Lord, I just come to you right now humbly with all these folks. I just thank you so much for their hearts to continue to push for 9/11 truth. I thank you for these doors that are opening. We just, by grace, we walk forward. We continue to push on. We just ask you would open doors that should be opened and close doors that should be closed, that we would see justice, hopefully, in our lifetime. Thank you, Lord. We just ask for prayer and guidance in your name. Amen. Thanks, everybody. So, yeah, Roger Waters was on Jimmy Dore. He was on Clayton Morris. And are we allowed to say? Did you check?
Yep.
Oh. And Roger Waters and Matt Campbell are going to be on Pierce Morgan's show sometime here. Do we know when?
No, but pretty shortly.
Okay, that's coming out soon, so keep your eye out for that one. So that's fantastic. And then I just had a few more clips, and we'll open up the table. Phil Turney will also be at the Turning the Tide event. I was asked to make a flyer real quick, so this is the first draft of it. Just some of the speakers: Roger Water, Jimmy Dore, Brett Weinstein, Dennis Kucinich, Meryl Nass, Mary Holland, Phil Turney, Richard Gage, and Matt Campbell, among others. And then there's still some big names we have yet to confirm, but Phil Turney is going to be one of them. And once they get these flyers approved, and there's the back, if anybody wants to save on, if they're printing this at home, you only really need to print the front. But if you want to print the back to be artistic, you could put that there too as well.
Yeah. And sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that out of the names that are still coming up to be confirmed, there's one that unfortunately we have to
Oh, yeah.
forget. And that was our original big name. It was Ian Carroll. And for those who may already know, he has spoken about it on his own show. He's dealing with health issues that are chronic. And I guess he's in a phase right now where he's supposed to minimize travel as much as possible. And so his show has been also kind of like on and off for the last little while.
Mm-hmm.
And so he regretfully had to decline. He kind of left the door open saying, well, if something changes by September, I guess we'll revisit that. But unfortunately, that's not possible. So we're really bummed out about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he supports us.
Yep.
So there's that.
And there's still a chance we're supposed to talk to Kevin about doing, possibly getting Richard and Ian together to start doing Friday Night Lives to talk just about 9/11, because a lot of his audience really missed his Friday Night Lives talking about things going through the files. So maybe that'll happen. We'll find out. All right. So again, Turning the Tide, if you want to get tickets, they are available September 10th through 13th in New York City. Just go to turningthetide911.org.
Yeah, the early bird is still good until July the 15th. If you take the ticket for the 4 days, we're probably going to extend that when the time comes. But if you don't want to take a chance, and yes, Susie, we're still talking about the seniors discount. We're just not.
Yep.
We don't have a final answer for you on how that would work.
Yep.
So there is that.
Very good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It's like we have, I mean, the name, yeah, you have everybody there, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think everybody's on there just yet.
Phil's on there now.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I mean, it's really shaped. Basically, what the days are breaking down to are September 10th, Thursday, September 10th, is going to be, the intro to 9/11 Truth, I guess, with Richard giving his presentation for anybody who's been living under a rock and doesn't know the evidence yet. It should be there for everyone to know. So we'll have Richard, we'll have Madhav Vassetti emceeing that event. Matt Campbell will be speaking that day. John Cole's video will be shown. We're going to have now that we don't have Ian Carroll, we're looking for another speaker since it's Charlie Kirk's anniversary, the anniversary of his passing. So we're working on that, and Brett Weinstein is supposed
Sorry, excuse me.
I think Gene wants Candace Owens. And Brett Weinstein. That's basically the day for that. 9/11 will be 9/11 focused. First responders, family members. We're going to have the movie in the afternoon called The Responders. We're followed by a Q&A session of some of the people who are appearing in that movie. It's a great, we've seen it. It's a great movie. It's totally worth seeing. The crew who made it is going to be there too. Jason Burmis is going to be emceeing that day. We're going to have Frank Morales, the pastor from New York, who's going to say some introductory words. Bob and Helen McIlvaine, Christopher Joya, Raul Angulo. There'll be Samantha Horowitz, who is help me out. She was at the World Trade Center in Building
Secret
7,
Service.
Secret Service, right? And so she'll talk about what she witnessed. A couple of other people. Dennis Kucinich will be talking that evening, and Roger Waters will be capping it off.
Little known fact that Roger Waters went to a school, Polytechnic, something for architecture. I wish somebody on one of these interviews would have asked him about that, but I will definitely be asking if I get a chance to have a few words with him. So,
and what I found also kind of funny was I'm watching the ticket sales coming in, and most of them are for the 4 days because it's what makes the most sense. But suddenly there's been an influx of the Friday only tickets. I have a feeling that has something to do with people saying, this is my one chance to meet Roger Waters.
that's pretty cool.
That's what I think it is. Then the 12th, which is the Saturday, that's going to be the big day because Thursday and Friday are just the evenings. So Saturday the 12th, the morning is going to be focused on the 9/11 Truth Movement and how it's developed over the years. So we're going to have some of it is still in flux because some people will be part of the panel and maybe not. So we're talking, of course, Mike Berger was the first name to come up for anybody who had a suggestion, the founder of 911truth.org. We're going to have him as part of the panel originally, and then that somehow didn't make sense. So he might be talking separately. That remains to be confirmed. We don't know that for sure. But we're going to have a panel that right now includes Carol, who is on the call, Carol Bruyere from the West Coast. We're talking people prior to 2005. This is the interesting part for us, is hearing from people who did this when the internet was just barely getting off the ground. How did they find each other? How were they approaching people? What was the reaction? What did they have to deal with? How did they organize? All of that stuff. I mean, it's really going to be, for me personally, super interesting. Yeah. There's going to be Phil Restino from Florida. There will be Barbara Honegger. She was part of the early ones. And the fourth person we're still working on, but we're not 100% sure. Xander Arena is going to be there. He's part of the new board of 9/11 Truth, and he's working. His main focus is the petition. He wants to get the petition back up and make sure that people get behind it. And I guess he'll do a whole backlog of verifications to get it back up to speed. And he wants to put the spotlight on that. There's going to be some scientific presentations in the afternoon. Oh, and I wanted to, the morning is going to be rounded out with, the midsection of the 9/11 Truth Movement when AE came into being, and the strong years that they had then. And then we'll follow it up, obviously, where we are now, all the organizations. And we will have a legacy video for all the 9/11 activists who have passed since 2001. I've got 52. I didn't think it was going to be quite that many. And just when you think you got them all, somebody says, hey, do you have so-and-so? And you're just like, holy cow, how did I forget that person? Sorry, Chuck Smith. So I'm still missing some birthdays. I don't want to belabor that. I don't know. I don't think anybody here has what I'm missing, so I'm gonna find do my search in other ways. And then yeah, afternoon, evening is aside from Jimmy Dore is still a big question mark because we're working on several angles. So Ron Johnson is supposed to be speaking that evening too. And then the Saturday is basically the false flag day. So Phil Turney, we're going to have someone to talk on October the 7th. Meryl Nass is going to talk on anthrax, Jessica Hockett on COVID. And there's a couple of other openings.
Definitely
too, so
packed. It's full of people and information. So it's shaping up very nicely.
yeah.
Love it. So keep your eye out on turningthetide911.org as information comes out there. I didn't really have a great segue into the next thing I wanted to talk about, but Phil Turney is being one of the speakers. I just saw this video that he posted like yesterday or today.
We're going to get banned after this.
What's
I burned this evil flag on the 4th of July in remembrance of my 34 brothers tattooed in my arm who were slaughtered by Israel June 8, 1967. I also call out all the Zionist Congress senators. You're supposed to fight for this country, not Israel, so you should be voted out, all of you. Thomas Massey for president, 2028.
there it is. Laid it down. Love Phil Turney, so it'll be great to see him there. There's talk whether to possibly invite this guy. He's doubling down on things that I've never heard him double down before on, and here's one of them. It's just shocking to hear. After all these years, he's finally saying it so blatantly.
And what I've been told is that every member of Congress, then and now, everybody knows, everybody talks about how our government, working with Israel, wired those buildings up and blew those things sky high. And the hijackers were CIA Mossad set up. There was gas on the planes. That's what the few air calls that got through. They didn't think to stop that. The stewardesses on 2 planes got calls that I can't breathe. There's gas. Then they kill them. Remote control. And then Flight 93 was supposed to go into the Capitals. They'd really get martial law. But the Air National Guard.
Yeah. That was the clip. I'm still trying to find out what actual episode that was for him, but I've never heard him say that. Everybody knows it was Israel and whatnot. He is a wild character. The reason why it's still in talks whether or not to invite him is because you invite him and he is a shock jock, if you will, and will bring a certain amount of people, but then he'll also repel a bunch of people.
Lots of upsides and lots of downsides.
Yeah. So that's it for that one. Next one, you guys may have heard of this couple. Their names were Ivan Birkus and Angela Nicolau. They climbed the Empire State Building illegally, and they hung a flag that did not say this. It said something about world peace, but I couldn't refuse to ride the wave and put my own flag up there. The cover-up of 9/11 was an inside job. I tagged both of them and said they could have done better. It'd been nice if they would have done a 9/11 flag, but still, congratulations on the engagement. So they find out later they're like worth $10 million and 30 million after they did this.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're sitting pretty.
Yeah.
But anyways,
one of the reasons that they were let go without charges was because it was a positive message.
Oh, that's nice. They probably wouldn't have been let go if they flew this one. But
if they'd burnt the Israeli flag up there.
Anyways, that's all I have for 9/11 news.
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm going to ask Susan about Boston.
Yes.
Sue,
you
mixed call too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, hang on, Carol. So mixed call yesterday.
Susan.
Yeah.
Not Carol.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, seen all of it.
Sorry.
So quick before I go, mixed call yesterday. He asked for. Oh man, I'm forgetting. I'm all jumbled up.
Evidentiary leads to explore,
like people that we would subpoena, starting to go after the whodunits. Who would you want to see called in? What leads we could find from that? So I threw out who were the Secretary of Commerce Commerce, who were the secretaries of commerce back when 9/11 happened? Because the Secretary of Commerce oversees NIST. So somebody in the know would have known that NIST was going to cover this up. So there were two names that came up. The one person that was during 9/11, the person after that. Mick said, no, you'd want to get more granular because one person can lead to another person, and they might, and I'm paraphrasing because Mick would never say it like this. One person might throw the other person under the bus, and you continue to go up the chain. So I said, so on my example, I'd go back to maybe Shyam Sunder or John Gross. And he said, yes, that's more along you go start with the little men that will lead you to bigger fishes. So if you're interested in that, he is asking for emails. You can get his email address on that website that I made to go to his calls, which is 911warroom.com/Mick. You'll get his email address there, and also the Zoom call link if you want to attend any of his calls. They're usually typically Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, I think we're nearing the end of that because they're wrapping up the report now. And
yeah. So there's that. Wanted to go to Sue and then Carol. Sue,
yes. So Thursday, July 9th, we will have Lawrence Fine as our guest speaker, and his research in his site 9/11 synthesis. And we have no future speakers lined up, but we're exploring the idea of having a 9/11 music night. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. That will be at probably the last Thursday of July. We did not do the Esplanade this year because the heat was a health issue. So sadly, we had to cancel. We're going forth with the aerial banner that will fly 50 miles from Fitchburg to Boston. Just waiting for the invoice. We'll plunk it down, and as soon as we get the invoice, which will be probably tomorrow, and it'll be booked.
Did you say from Pittsburgh to Boston?
Fitchburg.
Fitchburg.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it sounded like Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Anyway, so no, that would be a hell of a flight.
Yeah, that'd be right. That'd be good.
I'd get on the plane just to see you guys.
Yeah. The bad news is our website was attacked on June 29th, and we didn't know about it in time.
Oh.
And our webmaster cleaned it up, but there was a glitch still because our whatever you call it, SiteGround, it's all launched through SiteGround. SiteGround gave us a deadline of July 9th to notify them of it being cleaned up, and we missed that deadline. So which is strange. So now it's taken down by SiteGround because we didn't notify them in time that we cleaned it up. And our webmaster does not have access to SiteGround. Otherwise, he would have done that.
So we'll look forward to get that back up soon.
Yeah. So it's possible that we'll have to mimic the website and rebuild it from scratch again.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Backups. Everybody back
with
up.
a new URL.
Oh wow. Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I need to do. He's a 9 to 5 guy, our website master, and of course unreachable on holidays and weekends. So I'm hoping I'll have a solution from him tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. So if anybody wants to check out Lawrence this Thursday, 6:30 p.m. If you want an invite, email Sue at sueserpa@gmail.com. Thanks, Sue.
Yes, and also if you are a 9/11 musician, please email me.
What do you mean by a 9/11 music evening? You mean live music?
Yeah, people will join and hoping Christine Gasparini.
Okay.
Yeah. And Dave Von Roth. Yeah. So he's a musician.
Yeah.
Dave
Yeah.
Van August.
No.
David Lee Roth.
No,
That's what
no.
that was my first
What?
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
You don't
on
want
his
David
name.
Lee Roth. Have you
No,
seen him
that'd be
lately?
No.
bad.
No. But yeah, there's a number of them. They're just not coming.
Oh, good.
Okay, but you're not
Yeah.
looking for videos though, right?
Oh, we can do videos too.
'Cause
Sure.
I'm working on a whole slew for the conference to play like between like during pauses and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
I can send you the links to all of those
Okay, that'd be awesome.
as soon as I find them because I'm looking for them and I can't
Yeah.
find them.
Yeah. And
the
if you
place.
have connections to someone that you think would be a good speaker, also let me know.
Excellent. Thank you. Carol, thank you for being patient.
Oh, no problem. We're having our upcoming 9/11 Truth Film Festival, and there's two cards here. One has, this is the original, it has the date of September 9th, and this is the revised one that has September 8th, because again, the theater owner changed the date on us, which means a lot of work and a lot of changes for us.
Jeez.
But, oh well, c'est la vie. But
Well, it gives you an extra day to fly into New York.
exactly, I can bake you cookies.
That's right.
So it's in some ways it's good for me, but it does mean I have to print 1,000 labels and do all the
Oh, my
handwork.
God.
But we haven't spread the word a whole lot, so it's not too big of a problem.
Still.
Right on.
But it does open up more possibilities for inviting more people as speakers, because logistically it makes it just a little bit easier.
Mhm.
But I mentioned at the meeting that idea of False Flag Day, and I love it, and I
Oh.
think we should run with it. And last year when we had our film festival, I passed out just a ton of these for the Presidential Commission and calling out Bravo 7. And I was thinking that this year, in addition to having our regular promoting the film festival event, what we should do is have something that promotes False Flag Day, and also include Turning the Tide. But also, one thing we were talking about was how in the early days, there was some controversy over what were the most salient points to raise questions about 9/11. In fact, unanswered questions was the big meme, and there were usually a list of questions and just to get people thinking. And so one thing I was thinking about and the group was thinking about and working on were, if you have a newbie, what are the most salient points, talking points that we should introduce to people who are being brainwashed by the official narrative? And I was thinking that we should, in addition to passing out these cards, we used to pass out, I can't tell you how many thousands of cards, because we had lots and lots of events and parades and marches and all sorts of things before our film festival. But because of the evolution of history, we've had fewer and fewer places where we could actually pass things out. There's the San Francisco Mime Troupe, and they do shows all over the Bay Area, and they're very political, they're very good, they're humorous, and now we go to their events and we pass these out to the audiences. But I was thinking, I'd love to produce a card which had, and thanks for posting your QR code to the group, which would have the QR code to Turning the Tide, and as well as the meme for False Flag Day, and the best modern points that we could give to people to raise awareness for the people who were not born when 9/11 happened.
Yep.
So anyway, that's one of the things that I'd like to do. So anyone wants to work with me on that. I've also been in touch with Gabriel Day, and Gabriel Day was the grassroots organizer for 9/11 Truth for a long time. And he also does the Peace Resource Project, and he's sort of the one who makes all the bumper stickers, and I think he'd love that meme and to run with it too. And anyway, I've been busy. Sorry, I've been AWOL for a while, but one thing about our event is that we have been warned that the theater might be sold, and then we'd have to get the successor owner to okay our film festival.
Wow.
But I don't think there's much danger of that. So,
Okay.
but that's the one sort of hitch in our upcoming festival. But it's just so much work to put on a film festival that I when I thought, oh, the theater's going to be sold, I thought, okay, I go on vacation for a while. But now I'm back at work.
Right on. Thank you. Good update. I know that Eric Biscamp was working on I think a list of 5, or you said you had a list of 5 points that you found that were very strong. Richard has a list of, I think, 50 good questions, which I'm still supposed to get to Susie, and I will. But yeah, and to each, we've already discussed this, to each person, it might be different on what they consider the most important topics, or the person you're talking to. It's all dependent on if it's a pilot walking up to you at an airport, you talk about something a little bit different than maybe put options. So yeah, it's all so many different avenues there, but thank you for that. Craig.
Yes, thank you. A couple of things. First of all, on the Alex Jones thing, I'd like to just weigh in on that and urge you not to invite him.
Yeah.
I definitely would be on that with that group. I think you mentioned the Piers Morgan possibly interviewing Roger Waters and
That's
Matt
definitely
Campbell.
happening. Yes.
But definitely happening. Okay, great. I remember Piers Morgan interviewing Alex Jones about on the subject of guns. And Alex Jones, was insane that night, screaming like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And if he, on one hand he has Roger Waters as his guest on his show, and then he finds out that we're having Roger Waters with Alex Jones, I don't know. Seems like a bad idea to me. I also wanted to mention, just out of interest, I was fooling around because, Andy Steele is going to be working on, he's had to sort of put it aside for a bit, but he's got to go back to putting together a website for our group Exposing 9/11. So, we'll get back at that but I was just fooling around just because I used to see this ads a lot for this web building thing called Wix. I guess you've probably seen ads for it. Well, I made up one for my own website like 5 years ago, and I thought, this is pretty easy to do. So I thought I'd just give it a try and just sort of see what I could fool around with without committing to it. And it asks you what's the name of would be the name of your site, and what would be the basic description of it. So I gave it like a 1 or 2 sentence thing, and it would not allow me to do that. It said this does not meet with Wix's terms or community guidelines. So I couldn't even create the freaking thing. Not that I was planning to that day, but just it just gave me visions of WordPress and my site in the past, and the very brief a few days where my Substack page got pulled down, and then later on, this was maybe a year and a half ago, and then they kind of said, oh yes, it was a mistake, it was something or other, and they restored it. But it just makes you realize that nothing is free in this world, and if you use a free surface, you're taking your chances. Another one I wanted to just mention. Oh, I also Carl Golovin asked me to share a couple of photos that he wanted to share last week.
Oh, sure.
So I don't know if that's okay, but he mentioned to me just the ones with him and Jimmy Dore, and I have them open on my desktop. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
If that's the
you have to allow
way.
participants to give Gene a second. He has to change the setting for you to be able to share screen.
Participants. I can never find this.
I know. I think isn't it advanced?
Advanced. Share. There it is.
Yeah.
All
participants.
There you go. You should be able to go.
Okay. Cool.
And Carl, feel free to talk through these. But it's kind of odd to have somebody else do it for you. So.
Well, I think there may be, yeah, he may have felt there was a reason for that.
No, there's no reason. It was, I literally couldn't get it to work last week, but
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So are you seeing that?
there we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
On my screen, the picture comes up, but I still see my own face so it's.
Nope, you're good. We don't see that.
We only see the picture right now.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. I asked Craig to share the photos because I wasn't sure I'd be on the call. So I went up to New York to see Jimmy Dore. I've seen him a few times live, and I inscribed this copy of Boleyn's Solving 9/11 and gave to him. A very, I think, insightful inscription. I had no idea that either the days before or after he'd be talking even with some of the other speakers that are going to be there in September. So all things work together.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig, do you have those other two pictures of my? Please send those.
Yeah. Now, do I have to close this and then open?
You should be able to hover near the right side of the picture and go to the next picture. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Okay, there you go. So
nice.
Okay, so
after I parked down at the New World Trade Center 7. There's another picture I won't share where I met a very nice security person at WTC 7. He explained all to me about how what's his name? Silverstein has his personal office in the new building 7, and he's there every morning. And he actually pointed to a high rise just 2 blocks away and said Silverstein lives in the condo at the top of that. So I joked with him, I'm going to come back and try to schedule an appointment to interview. Surely he'd want to talk to somebody who went through the rubble of his old building. Why not? So then I walked past the. It's interesting they call it the National 9/11 Memorial and Museum and Memorial. I mean, how can a private entity declare itself to be the national memorial without allowing First Amendment freedom of speech on the grounds? So I discussed the First Amendment issue with these Port Authority officers, and we walked through what happens if one is distributing, even free postcard-sized documents with 9/11 information. And what they explained is that those who operate the museum have oversight of what happens in the plaza. So if they complain to the police will cite you for trespassing and ask you to leave, or arrest you if you refuse to leave. And we discussed, sometimes it's necessary to push things legally in order to challenge. How can a national memorial not have free speech? Maybe it should actually a recommendation to Congress that the memorial and museum grounds should be nationalized. They should become a national park area, much like Shanksville is in Pennsylvania.
If I could add something to that, Carl, there was a brilliant, I don't know who did it, but one of the first years that the memorial was open, somebody created flyers, 9/11 Truth flyers that looked exactly like the museum's flyers that year. So a lot of them went out, and then they got upset that happened.
Well, on their website, they claim that they don't want anything to detract from the experience of people who were, just there in solitary, prayer or whatever. I think there's one other picture of the police behind me. A couple of the officers were sort of hiding in my shadow. They were smiling and laughing. Actually,
picture, Craig.
The cute blonde right there is the one I'm going to ask to have arrest me if it comes to it. She was a hoot. They were all about. I mean, between the Liberty hat and discussing the official narrative not being true, I didn't have a certain one of them disagree. They all seemed quite well to understand. So nice. I couldn't hold back a smile because these two guys were trying to throw it back out of the selfie, but then they agreed to be in the follow-up selfie.
Nice.
So
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, having been in investigative law enforcement capacity, it's easy for me to talk with people like this and reach an understanding. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right.
Just those three. So I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Craig. We'll
sure.
go to Ross.
Yeah, Carl.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again.
See you.
Speak to you again, because I've been kind of listening on the side over the last few weeks, partially because I haven't had much time. But I'm back in New York City, and first day I arrived, I got right back on the skateboard, and risking my life, I would say, because I'm getting older and starting to have sciatic back problems and all the issues that come, from working on a ladder and all so much. And anyhow, I got on board, and it's been the same really wonderful experience with mainly young people who are coming up, and they know all about it, and they say, yeah, we know. And the last one I spoke with was a guy 23 years old, or no, he was 28 years old. And he goes, yeah, I don't really remember it much. And I said, oh, how old were you? 28. Oh, and I, of course, you were only 3 years old. And there's a lot of those guys. I'm not sure why it is that everybody in New York City knows about 9/11. The official story is fake. There is false. They know, and the younger people seem to call it out even more than the people in my own generation or in the booming generation. I suppose we can take credit for that. The internet's going to take some credit, because back in the days when it was open and more open, a lot got out, as we know. That's why we're here, a lot of us. And I suppose it's all those things, plus the just general audacity of it, and the fact that what I think we're here for is that the truth is can't be kept down. There's a kind of a spiritual connection with that transcends all of us and is getting into young people as they come of age. So I'm very happy about that, and I'll just let you know that I'm going to continue to do that. I'm hoping everybody that wants to know what they're going to do on the anniversary, if you're not able to have the money to get there for the conference and everything, you still got to get to New York City and get to Ground Zero. The young people, even if you have to pretend or try to be like a homeless person coming into a city for one night, not having a place to stay, try to be like that. You'll get a lot of respect out of the young people on the street. Just living in that way for one day, even if it's kind of fake, you're going to go back to your comfy home, but just get on that day. You don't, and again, be your individual self, and nobody gets arrested. Wear your T-shirt. Obviously, you want to be prepared. You don't want to just be there for yourself. But that's, I think, the main thing that everybody just needs to focus on. Very simple. And then, of course, if you have money, a little bit of that spending money, you want to put it into the conference, and so probably, I think. And anyhow, I've been spending my time the last 3 months negotiating pieces of land for what is now officially Twin Towers World Learning Center.
Nice.
A full acre, almost a perfect square in the end of the day, piece of land, and that actually turns out, as we here know, to be the size of one footprint of one acre, 208 feet by 208 feet, and a special piece of natural land that encompasses all 4 natural ecosystems that are viable living ecosystems, which are different: grassland, the ocean land, the forest, deciduous forest land, rainforest land, all of this incorporated on and or adjacent to the site of the World Learning Center. Now, what that means is the views are spectacular. So the main feature of this World Learning Center, besides all the other things it's going to do, it's going to be a World Truth Center, a Heritage Center, a lot of things that don't necessarily have to do with 9/11 or even the towers, although the towers will always be in front, because there's going to be the 2 main buildings on that site will be small ones, so that nature takes over. They will be 20 foot by 20 foot, his and hers, or I guess in the younger generation, they might want to say one and they too, twin towers, houses that are 20 foot by 20 foot footprint. And of course, I'll only probably, if I even get that done, it'll be, to the height of the 9th floor to scale. But hopefully in future, I'll get the people, the city to be interested, and we'll get the building, and we'll go with 130 foot high towers as a outlook observation towers with a staircase in the middle. Everybody would appreciate that really extraordinary view. And I won't go on with any more detail right now, but I can maybe share my screen and show you the photos of the land. And then it's on Google Earth and there's no real markers there. Maybe your AI can figure out where it is. I'll eventually tell you. But if you want an AI challenge, I'm sure AI could figure it out probably. But if you want to see, I could try to share the pictures if you want.
Sure, real quick.
Okay. So let's see, this will come. So the first one is the general broad outlook. Are you seeing?
Yep.
And now, let me go full screen here.
Like, what country are we in at least?
Okay, am I getting a nice big picture of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Well, I'm not gonna, I want you to work a little harder than that. You know, it's pretty easy country that is. But if anything about geography, about natural landscapes,
you want us to guess from this?
Yeah. Are you seeing a big lake here in the middle? Is that what you're seeing?
Well,
Yeah.
now that you say that it's a lake, yes.
Yeah. Okay. You guys got to get used to looking at Google Earth. So it's a big lake. It's the shape of a heart. And typically that is the region is the Corazon region of this area. Corazon, there's a clue. And then there's a beautiful river flowing out of it. And then there's, of course, this vast, immense farmland, cattle pasture land, which will remain so, which borders the site. And of course, therefore, the site is down here. I don't know if you can see my hand moving around there on this picture. The site is, my hand covers it entirely right now. So it's located exactly there. I'll take you to this next photo. Am I going to switch, I hope, automatically on the screen share? And of course, wouldn't you know, the screen sharing, it went right over where I had. Okay, good. I figured that out. All right, so let's go and try and expand. Are you seeing a different photo larger?
No.
No. All right, I got to share a different thing. Let's see if it lets me.
Oh, this one's different from the original.
Oh, it is?
Well, I'm looking like at two diagonal bars going southwest to northeast.
Okay, yeah. All right. And so you're seeing basically just a green patch with the two bars going north or south.
Mostly green.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting a little into the weeds. I gotta move on here.
I wanted to do a better thing for you to begin with, but that's the actual site blown up if I've got the right photo.
Right. Well, you got some property. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very nice property, very large, and very great spot as it is seen from the highway, very prominently. There are twin towers in this country going up as a cross-laminated timber structure. These will not be concrete ones like my other ones. They're up north of this. These will be out of laminated timber, which is one of the newer modern structures out there today. So that will be very full. And anyway, I'll leave it for now. I'll leave that as it is, and I'll give a better presentation next time around, maybe.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Stay cool in New York.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Yeah, right. Concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Magnus, what do you got?
Oh, hey, great work, everyone, and great to see you. I'm asking Gene, can we please use a few minutes on this video? I found a longer version of these explosions in Building 7. There is this guy, who is actually pointing out to these explosions, but now we have a longer version.
Here we go.
Thank you.
That affects on an average about 1.5 million people every single day.
The video.
50,000 flights.
You want me to mute the video?
Yeah, because it's just clips. It's not important.
Okay, 10-4. And we're watching for, that puff of. So imagine we're going to see something happening around the base of 7.
Is that your arrow?
No, that's somebody else's arrow. Yeah, there's definitely more smoke being produced. Yeah, more smoke. The building, even the penthouse, is still standing. And I don't know what's going on there.
A lot of smoke in front of the northeast, the north side. I think he has more.
Yeah, let me skip ahead a little bit. It's going a little slow. Turn off closed captioning. So yeah, the east penthouse hasn't even started to collapse yet, and there's this enormous burst of. Oh, it's replaying now.
Okay. But
Yep.
thank you anyway, Gene. That's very important. I think that there is very much
Yep.
going on there.
Questions of what's happening at the base of Building 7 before even the core column started to collapse. Yes, thank you.
Good job, Magnus. That was awesome. Never seen that one.
There it happens again. Yep. All right.
Wow.
Thank you much, Magnus. Let's see who's next. Carol. Nope, you're muted. Gets the best of us. There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I've been intimidated and threatened with arrest so many times for going to places like UN Plaza in San Francisco. They were on us like in 5 minutes when we were trying to do a demonstration. So I'm not really surprised what's happening with Building 7 in the National Museum. And then you mentioned too, actually last Thursday, Sandra, that around Ground Zero, they've made it harder and harder for anybody to get through to do any sort of outreach. There's a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not only is there a barrier, but Ross has told us that, outside of the actual memorial event, it's not, you can walk around, you can be 2 or 3 people, like walking, as long as you're walking and, doing your thing, but you cannot like congregate, right, Ross? Like you said, at Ground Zero, they will not allow you to be a group and just stand there and maybe hand out flyers or something like that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to hand out flyers under any circumstances, even if you're just an individual. And, they say, no congregating, no groups. But what they really mean, I think, under the law is that basically, if you're not an individual, they get you. And if you are an individual, apparently you can get away with a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't need to be that, you don't know each other and you can't even get close to each other, but you just got to pretty much be like, if they start asking you, how do you know each other? And we hooked up on Facebook and we're all together as a group here. No, you just like, well, I don't know people from Adam, but what we all seem to agree on, even though we don't know each other, is that the official story was not true.
Yeah.
And I bet this person over here, even though I don't know anything about him, believes that, and this person believes that, and even people that are not wearing shirts that you aren't looking at right now probably would tell you that too. I said that's the common ground we have. We don't know each other.
That's crazy. You can't hand out flyers, which is a violation of right to free speech,
Well,
and you
freedom
can't
of assembly.
And then you can't congregate, which is freedom of assembly. But I heard the same thing in DC. That's why they're saying if you're an individual, but if you identify as an organization, then they could get you. So.
Yeah. Well, now they had, I think it was over the last 10 years or 5 years that they started instituting the free speech zones in New York City.
Yes.
So you actually have a zone that is designated for free speech.
There's a whole zone. It's called the United States of America.
Hey, happy 250th anniversary.
Somebody made a meme about that. It's really odd that we're celebrating the 4th of July when this country's now at the most
tyrannical
it's ever been. And the irony.
Yeah, George Orwell, all that pre-programming has gotten through. So
yeah, the founders are turning around in their graves.
Thank you, Carol, for that. Hopefully that answered your question. You think, or you were just sharing something?
Yeah. She was just sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
But they do try to frighten and intimidate people to give up their rights.
Yes.
I can't believe they would do that to you. You look so innocent. I mean, Gene stands on the corner with his bullhorn and his pipes, and I could see how that might be, attracting attention. But
and FYI.
I was on the streets on Halloween just after 9/11, and I did the most nonviolent thing I could think of. I had a listening project in downtown Palo Alto because I could see the attacks on our rights. And so I've been always just championing free speech. And I can't tell you how many times the police have said, you don't have a permit, and give me a hard time.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah, FYI, down at Ground Zero, as Gene knows well, we all know who go down there. The Port Authorities are the worst, and that's not to be surprised. That's not a surprise. New York City Police, which is a different jurisdiction, if there's a fine line there, which we could describe before the event a little in more detail, but the New York City Police are all on the ones I've come across. It's been 100% on the side of the truth, on the side of the official story isn't correct. Port Authority is almost flipped. It's almost the opposite. It's like 100%. Either they don't want to admit it, they're just defending their territory, which is that nobody's going to be talking about this alternative story on our property. It's our property. Yeah, and then the firefighters are like in between on that. I get about half and half, but most of those firefighters are definitely clapping and cheering, when I'm on the skateboard, and I don't think it's because they're making fun of me. It's because it's like about it.
Well, I mean, the firefighters gave us thumbs up. I mean, when we were out there at Ground Zero, they drove by either nodded or thumbs up or wave or something like that.
Remember, I got kicked out of the memorial on 3 or 4 years ago, when all the younger policemen there or firefighters were there as a group. The guys that were not 9/11, actually, they were too young. They were like newbies in the world, in the firefighting world. They were having some kind of party or something. Well, they stopped me at the memorial and said, "Your skateboard is really cool." Oh, they had all their motorcycles there. That was it. They brought okay, so you can't bring a skateboard to the memorial on the day, but you can bring your motorcycle there. So, and that was because they were all firefighters and they were having some big get together. They were just in love with the thing. All some word got around or whatever. And then I got approached like, "No, you got to get out of here because people are complaining about it." But of course, the firefighter guys, the young guys, were not complaining. It was somebody higher up, or maybe a Port Authority person who too. And I'm not allowed to bring the skateboard back there on the day. They gave me the deal to come back there any other day. I've been doing, but not on the day. So I will come to the edge where their jurisdiction ends and ride that straight shot back and forth and back and forth.
And that's all you can do.
Yep.
And that's all I can do.
Yeah.
I got to go to Carl. Carl, go ahead. Thanks,
well,
Ross.
I was going to suggest that there is much more that we can do, because we don't have to accept just being kind of bullied that, well, we can't, that when I walked by the memorial building, museum building, and the plaza, I mean, there were no barriers to keep a person. I could have walked over to both of the fountains in the ground, all that. And the Port Authority, as Ross may have missed those 2 pictures, I don't know if you want to show them again. I had a great conversation with the Port Authority police. They were very congenial, and it's very much a procedural matter that they told me they wouldn't mess with anybody unless there's a complaint from those who manage and direct the museum and memorial. And then they're obliged to ask you to leave, perhaps to cite you, maybe even a mandatory appearance citation, which, this goes back to things that, could be litigated, whether, they're calling it a national memorial, but yet not allowing free speech. But if you push it a step further, they arrest you, and they didn't recommend that, they said. But where I see an opportunity here is if I ask Phil Turney if he'd like to get his dozen closest USS Liberty survivors, and maybe Roger Waters and maybe Richard Gage and a few others, and all of us were to go down there with a very polite, maybe one side of a postcard would reference the USS Liberty, the other side would reference 9/11, both as false flag terrorism. And well, I'm sure that I know Phil Turney has a publicist who has expert videographers, and it would be all over the internet. Maybe Thomas Massey would join us. There's an opportunity there to draw attention to the fact that the memorial and museum area has been privatized and is being used as an indoctrination zone for generation after generation, and it needs to become a free speech, arguably a national park area, so that's brought to an end. So
Yeah.
I'll mention that to Phil. I don't know if Richard wants to go the Gandhi path of being arrested for righteousness' sake, but I'll let him chime in on that.
Thank you, Carl.
It's going to be a little rough. I mean, if you're talking about the anniversary from the 10th to the 13th.
Well, not necessarily arrested. Actually, if everyone were just given a citation, then Mick could litigate the whole thing in federal court, probably. So, pardon me for interrupting.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I'm just because we were discussing the possibility of, doing something at Ground Zero. It's just the time is going to be so unbelievably tight, because there's the whole setup that needs to happen, obviously, on the Thursday before the program starts, and then Friday's the VIP lunch and then the movie, and so yeah. But yeah, it's been brought up that we should be doing something at Ground Zero, and we just haven't figured out a good way to do that yet.
Yep. Maybe that's what we could send Alex Jones to do. He could do the street march.
Yeah, go be great at that.
Go play outside, Alex.
Well, I mean, the First Amendment does not provide for marching. It specifically says peaceably assemble and petition.
Yep.
Because when you have a crowd in motion marching, that can get out of hand really badly.
Yes.
So there's a reason that also the Constitution says nothing about, quote, protesting. I think that's a legacy of the Catholic Church calling anyone who opposes their doctrines Protestants. But no, it's peaceably assembling petition for redress of grievances. The grievance being this is a zone that's being used to indoctrinate people to official lies rather than for free speech to educate people.
Thank you.
And I just to end with that, put in a lot of hours for all the city and entered a lot of public spaces with the skateboard and with the whole outfit and with the message and talking to a lot of people and had crowds around me. And I've not had one problem. It's just on the day of 9/11 down there at Ground Zero. The Port Authority, even when I'm down there any other day, doesn't give me one problem at it's just the day of the event with all the family members, everybody there, getting so much attention that day obviously gets them a little unnerved. So,
Yep.
And that's what you want. But so I don't think, we should be pushing it and be scared of it and just be aware of that day. And then just also be aware you're not part of a group. That'll always hit you. And then just try to get away from them. Don't try and I will negotiate. Yeah, well, we're going to go up to the front door, and no, just once that happens, you gotta talk to them and leave. Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Ross. Anybody else new 9/11 news?
Should I think maybe on C2C, because I think that
we're down to 1 week.
They're going to be showing that when Barbara comes back.
Yeah, that's July 19th. The broadcast of episode 6.
Nice.
Of 9/11 crime scene at Cortland.
That's going to be on a Saturday?
Sunday.
The 18th?
Sunday, 5 p.m. 19th.
Sunday.
Oh, the 19th. Sorry.
There you go. All right. Now it's 2 weeks.
Now it's 2 weeks. And we're there's no turning back at this point.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is try to make a DVD. We call it a DVD. It's really a video. Less than 2 hours. That includes the evidence of Building 7 before the conference on September 11th.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
If you need help with the Q&A part, Sandra and I think, are willing to help there.
What?
Yay!
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of volunteered.
Awesome. That's why I made it 5 o'clock in hopes that you guys would help out.
5 p.m. Whatever that is, Pacific or
8 Eastern.
No.
Yes.
8 Eastern. Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. We're good.
Yay.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you. Susie.
Hey, not to, I'm sorry, go aside from what you were talking about, but going back to seeking some opportunities to get some high profile or, significant significant voices out to speak at the event. I know Richard and I have been back and forth a little bit on Mickey Willis and Thomas Massey, as well as Tulsi Gabbard. And I've given them all the connections that I could possibly make. And specifically, I wanted to address to Carl because he's been so made some really significant attempts and successes in reaching our congressman at the Capitol. And just wondering, are you still there, Carl? And is there any way that you could get access to Thomas Massey to be able to ask him to speak?
Well, I invited Phil Turney to come to D.C. back in December, and the first time Phil ever met Tom Massey is when all of us were in an elevator together in Rayburn House office building, and out of that, and documents that Phil handed to Massey came, Massey inviting the veterans to D.C. on June 8th, and then Massey speaking from the floor of the House. So, I'm in contact with Phil Turney, and Phil Turney is in, steady contact with Thomas Massey. I don't know if Tom Massey knew that Phil was going to burn the Israeli flag as an intro to declaring his candidacy for president, but I imagine he got a chuckle out of it. And no, I'm in the area. I think I'm done for the time being delivering things to the offices, because I've concluded that perhaps most of what I've delivered, the staffers are instructed to discard things rather than collect or catalog them as received. So I'm not sure what else you're asking, but I'll go knock on anybody's door if someone has a personal contact that a congressman's willing to have a conversation. Actually, Gene, did you get a message I sent you? I bumped into a congressman named Kelly. He's from Pennsylvania. I thought he might be even from your district.
Mike Kelly, yep.
Is he your congressman?
Yep.
Well,
I tried before to talk to him. He sent me to a staffer, and the staffer kind of gave me he acted like he's listening and never filed a follow-up meeting. Well, and a conversation I did have with Tom Massey once, I asked him, as much as AIPAC has influence with their money, how influential is AIPAC in placing their minions on the staff of members of Congress and the committees? And I think that's the case, is that, those loyal to AIPAC kind of pervade the staff of Congress, so they will probably cut off some of the conversations and materials. But I'll put in chat a picture where I bumped into Mike Kelly in the parking lot right next to the Cannon building and nice.
And the Capitol Hill Club, and he stopped. As I was walking past him, I'm wearing my Liberty ball cap on the way to my car. I'm leaving the Capitol Hill Club, and he says, "Thank you for your service," which is
nice.
It happens over and over. And I say, "Well, I'm sorry, I was only 10 years old when Israel attacked the Liberty. Do you know the story?" No, that's my standard response whenever anybody thanks me for my service. I was only 10 years old then, but I've been to the last 3 reunions of the veterans of the Liberty attack, and and then that segues into, but I did help clear, sift rubble after 9/11, and you know about that. So one thing connects to the other.
Yeah.
And but Mike Kelly was highly receptive. I looked; he has not received, and he has not received any AIPAC money. He actually, he mentioned one of his children is a heroin addict, and I think he is completely aware that there's a lot more going on than is allowed to come to the surface. He was a very sympathetic person. I'll put his picture in the chat.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Gene's going to run with that ball, I think. Just a quick note on adding people to the conference or even suggesting them. The schedule that we have right now is super tight. We're keeping a couple of slots open for those people that we're still trying to get to confirm. But beyond that, there's literally hardly a half an hour left. So Tulsi, we would have reasons not to have her. Mickey Willis, unfortunately, I think, we cover the ground already that he'd be covering, even though he's a recognizable name and someone who's very well spoken. I will say that if Thomas Massey wanted to speak, and the same goes for Candace Owens and Marjorie Taylor Greene, we would find a way.
Yeah.
We would reshuffle the board to make sure that that they could speak.
So, I was just looking into the inroads of what we already have available to us with regards to Dennis, being cordially friendly, I believe, with Thomas Matt.
Yeah, Massey would be great to have.
And whether Ted has even, considered that, expanding outwards just based on, who we already know and who they know. So,
well, like I said, we have a list of, I think it was 70. We started off with 70 names and we whittled it down to a bunch of things, what was possible, what was doable, what was what was conceivable, and what would work out from a time perspective. And it's a lot of balls up in the air at any given time, and never say never. But we're trying to not add anyone right now because we have to see what we're doing with what we have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Go to Magnus.
Oh, thank you. I'm just wondering, since you was asking if we had more news, I have one more video for you. 18 minutes and 20 seconds if we have time.
I saw it. 18:20. Let's get there. Here we go.
Thank you.
Close enough. Whoops.
Kandahar, Afghanistan.
And we would just remind you, as we always do now with these reports from inside the Taliban-controlled Afghanistan, that you're seeing only one side of the story, that these U.S. military actions that Nick Robertson was talking about are in response to a terrorist attack that killed 5,000 and more innocent people inside the United States.
Kandahar, and we
think that was a lance. Richard would probably agree with me on this. This guy has a rod that he's using, I believe, to cut through the steel. If that's what you were pointing at.
Story that these U.S.
Let me mute
military
her real quick. Yeah, he's definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a guy there cutting it, yeah.
All right.
Is there any failure of this media? Can you watch this video later, Gene, and see if this is a failure of U.S. media, as this man claims?
Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Who else had their hand up? And then we'll go around the room. Got a few hands up. Carl.
Yes, I noticed that Phil Turney looks like he's scheduled for Sunday morning, which I think is not an optimal time for the power of the message that he has. A lot of people probably won't even stay till the Sunday morning. And I've offered. I know people are worried I might stray from my prepared remarks, but I feel I can. Well, from the experience of having non-disclosure agreement imposed upon me and presumably everybody else who was among those federal agents who worked at the 9/11 Trade Center sites, that Phil and his crew had a much harsher NDA imposed on them. They were told Leavenworth or worse if you ever speak about this, even to your spouses. Wow. So I can give a good entree from the false flag terror implicit in the Levant affair, JFK's replacement with LBJ, who greenlighted the 6-day war, of which the Liberty was a part, and minor digression into sifting the Rebel of 7 and having an NDA imposed upon me, which was a big surprise when I was told I couldn't retire. They wouldn't process my paperwork unless I signed it. And as I've explained yesterday on Mick's call, and I've explained before, I don't know anybody else who has spoken out who sifted number 7 Rebel up at the landfill. I think I'm the only one. So I wouldn't ask for a whole lot of time, and I've agreed that even Phil Giraldi would be, from decades of talking about the Liberty, he would be an appropriate one to introduce Phil. But I think I would appreciate that opportunity were it possible. Thank you.
We'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Jack.
Hi, yes, 2 things. First, Carol, you have a politician named Weiner, and he is an ardent Zionist, obviously, but he seemed to be running for a national office, and he has access to unlimited money, 10, 20, 30 million dollars when he runs for office. So that's what you're dealing with, Carol. And the second thing is Magnus keeps coming up with these videos. And the first one that he showed, I thought was very, very good. Richard thought so too. And I actually saw a long time ago, like 23 years ago, a video of one of the World Trade Center buildings where squibs were coming out. I don't know if anyone has seen that. Before the explosion in Naps. And that has kind of disappeared. So I really are hung up on videos. We really need to get them together. And
it's definitely an expert speak out. I think it's an expert speak out. It's in David Hooper's Anatomy of a Great Deception. I remember seeing the squibs. Yeah, they're out there.
Actually, I saw those, but there's an even better picture of the squibs from a helicopter. And having seen those videos, I thought, well, that's not quite as good a video as the one I saw. So anyway, we really need to work on videos. That they're approved.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Jetty from Scotland.
Hello. Hopefully I'm coming through.
Yeah. Hi, mate.
I'm going to continue my This Week I Learned series on the models that we have of the towers, of the full height model. So as part of what we're doing, we're going back and looking at what NIST said about these very models once the floors were put in. And this week we learned that if you remove 2 whole floor slabs, nothing happens. The building remains entirely stable. If you remove 3 whole floor slabs, and this includes the concrete and the core, if you remove 2 of the smaller core columns in row 700 toward the middle of it buckle. Then if you remove a 4th floor, and these are all adjacent floors obviously, if you remove a 4th one, then the 2 outside core columns additionally buckle in row 600. So that's 4 floors removed, only 4 core columns buckle.
But when they buckle, it doesn't collapse, correct?
Yeah, no, it remains stable at that point. It's not until you remove 5 complete floors, all next to each other, that anything happens to the stability of the building, which is actually a point that NIST covered up, because this came from a guy called Fahim Sadiq, who did the analysis for NIST. And when you look at this, he actually said this to NIST in a conference in 2004. And he was talking about these exact models, that you can remove up to 5 floors and nothing happens to the building. NIST they've been very, very deceptive here about this, beyond anything that we realise. We're uncovering stuff about these models that is just absolutely ridiculous. But being able to take out 4 complete floor slabs, no, let me say that quickly, that is and nothing happened to the building, gives you an idea of just how stable these columns are, the core columns. It's ridiculous. So imagine what it takes to get the top block of this building to come down at free fall. It's just that their own model and their own engineer absolutely refute everything that NIST said in 2000. And this is from 2004. We've got the details of the conference. We've got the exact quote from them and everything.
Are you guys going to put out? Are you guys going to put out like a small report or something about that?
Yeah, we are, but we want to run some. We want to try and run some simulations on the model and be able to back up what's being said.
I would love to see that recorded and put out in a little video or something. Man, would that be amazing?
Yeah, but we've got him on record in black and white saying it, and he actually presented that to NIST and to every other expert that they had at a conference in 2004. So we've uncovered that. He said that to them, and he's on record, and it's still out there. It's actually
Wow.
at NIST's website. Believe it or not, it is actually at NIST's website. On a
Please send me the
PDF.
link. I want to see that.
I will do. I'll send you that just now.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
That's good stuff. All right. Anybody else before we go around the room? Anything else you want to talk about real quick? Hearing nothing. Al, wake up. What do you got? He's out. All right, we'll come back to that. No, there he is. He's back. Howdy. Anything for the group wrapping up, sir? I'll give you a...
Not really. I'm working with Chris Groner on something I can't talk about.
Okay.
It may end up in New York, so I don't know right now.
Okay.
So I'll let everybody know.
And we were
End of
looking for the
story.
early folks, and his name did pop up, so I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, he called me, and we've been in discussion.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you, Al.
he said he couldn't be part of the panel.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right. Keep working. Joseph, anything for the group?
Just good luck to you all.
Good luck to you as well, sir. He's cool in a 60-degree Anchorage, Alaska.
I keep they tell me I'm supposed to respect my seniors. It's just hard as hell to find any. But good luck to you guys.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Mike Cook.
Hey, excuse me.
Oh boy.
Not a whole lot going on. I've had some nasty health issues here. I didn't do anything for the fourth, but I believe I'm getting over it. You know, low-grade fever. You can hear it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to stay hydrated and get lots of rest. I need it to go away soon because I got a lot of work to do.
All right. You make me want to cough. Stop. Take your CD
All right.
and zinc. And yeah, keep hydrated, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Sweet Jane, anything for the group?
Oh, not really anything particular to offer except my usual appreciation of all the different spokes of the wheel that you're all, exploring to get to the hub of this. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Some are colored, some are bent, some are rusty.
Yeah.
But we're all in that wheel, right? Thanks, Jane. Carol, anything for the group?
Oh, thanks for being here and for all your work, all you do.
Thank you. Ross?
Yeah, I make sure I don't miss thanking you for that image of the two tower spire walkers that happened last week here in New York. I was there. I was on the street. I was making some Xerox copies, believe it or not, old-fashioned work, and I was outside the building and helicopters above, and I thought, oh no, somebody jumped or there's some fire, somebody did something, kept going, and then as I got closer to my apartment, everybody's still looking up there. They're still looking up, and I sort of finally stopped. I asked, everybody said, oh, a couple climbed the spire, and I didn't, I was like, well, what do you mean, And then finally a woman came along, she had a video of it. And she goes, here, this is it. So we're all talking, looking at it, and they were like, oh my God. And then we said, everybody, what's the banner say? It's so great. What did the banner say? And then we all were like, what?
Yeah.
It was like a real New York moment. It was like a New Yorker moment. We were just like, oh my God, they went to all that trouble and that's all they had to say. So I said, that is just ridiculous. I said, at minimum, they should have had 9/11 Truth, on there.
Yeah.
And everybody said, agreed and go, yeah. There's so many things that could go on that banner. All that effort wasted.
Well, if you look at all the memes that came out,
oh my, yes.
I mean, there was no shortage of people who had ideas of what should have been on that banner.
Yeah,
but as far as positive messages go, I mean, it's I think it's great that it was a positive message and not targeted at division but at unity, and yeah, I think it was great.
No, it was, and I mean, but however, still a wasted opportunity, I think. But that's a lot of effort.
He didn't waste the opportunity. He proposed. We Us men can never live up to that. Proposing
Yeah.
at the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, but
The
but I
whole world
told
watching
everybody on the
surrounded by
ground,
helicopters.
as I told everybody on the ground, with a message like that, though, they'll be divorced within a couple of years.
I hope not, but yeah. Hey, thank you, Ross. JV, anything for the group?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
I'll just mention somebody to Joseph that he can look up to, because I was going to mention him anyway. My good friend Barry Zwicker. I actually wanted to mention him anyway because I don't think he would be available or willing to go to New York or anything, but his name deserves to be mentioned in connection with people who've been around since the early years. In fact, it's worth mentioning that Barry was the first person in the world, to my knowledge, to say on national television in any country that 9/11 was an inside job. And he said that in 2002 in Canada. So it was a network in Canada. But so it's worth mentioning. I just didn't want his name to be forgotten. He is older than Joseph.
Yeah, he came up. He came up in the suggestions, but I don't know. Again, I don't know who said what, but somebody said that that because of his age, that traveling was not going to be, the easiest thing for him. And yeah, but yeah, his name definitely came up. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt quickly because of a guy on those lines is Jeffrey Sachs. The professor up at Columbia University, who's very well known. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with.
Of course, yeah.
He's good, and Crispin Miller too. But so I won't say any longer. Sorry to interrupt there, Craig.
Okay. I would just mention Sandra. I don't think Barry would make the trip, but he's actually physically capable of making. This is a guy that rode his bike from Montreal to Quebec City at the age of 78. So. I couldn't have done that at 38, and he did it at 28. So anyway, if anybody's up to traveling, it's definitely Barry. But anyway, I don't think that was probably in the cards, but I just thought I want his name to get mentioned.
Yeah, it was definitely mentioned, and that may not have been the reason. I just remember, anyways, a lot of discussions were had, but there was.
I'd love to know what possible reason there could be other than that, or. For not wanting to include him, like what could be that?
I don't know. It could be that others were. Came up first in the or I don't know. It was just kind of like we were just like grabbing all kinds of things and then see what's stuck, and I don't know.
All right, I got some hands back up before I go back into the stack. Jack.
Yes, two things. First, I forgot to mention when I talked before about the youth and how receptive they are to this. And slowly, the older people are saying, "Well, I don't believe any of that bullshit." But the youth are getting through to them slowly, which is delightful. And I really think we need to continue to work on that. And the second thing is Barry Zwicker has all the answers, so we really should include him at any time possible. He's a really smart guy.
Thank you. Carol?
Yeah. One documentary we're thinking of including in our film festival this year was the San Francisco International Inquiry into 9/11, which happened in 2004. And Barry spoke very eloquently in it. And he also organized the Toronto Inquiry into 9/11. Those were the two sort of landmark, big bringing together the movement in the early days. And if you want any footage, we have some. Mike Berger even volunteered. We created up a whole television panel, and we had some really interesting conversations with the early people. And
nice. Nope, you froze.
Yeah, Carol froze. All
right.
But if you want a great clip of Barry Zwicker from 2004, I've got him.
All right.
I would love to see that. Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Carol. Back in the stack. Magnus, anything for the group?
No, just thank you and keep up the great work, and see you next time, and have a great week, everyone. And I wanted just to ask Sue if she saw the message in the chat from Jerry, if Von Kleist is active musicians. Dave Von Kleist could have been on the 9/11 Truth Boston and playing music. Because I remember seeing him on Richard Gage Unleashed in 2021 or something.
That's who I meant to say earlier when I said, yeah, Dave Von Roth.
Okay.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, Dave Von Kleist. So yeah, this will be my turn actually. The speakers we've had who are also musicians are Kristen Gasparini, Dave Von Kleist, Sander Hicks, Jonathan Mark Haber, and Lawrence Fine. They're all musicians. So we'll see if we can get that to materialize. And I was just in the middle of replying to your message in the chat, Mike, that you have a collection of 9/11 music videos. So if you could send that to me, that'd be awesome. You have my email?
Go ahead and give it to me so we're sure. I may be able to provide links or send the actual MP3s or whatever. I gotta dig it up first.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Take your time. We're talking about the last week in June. So it's SUESERPA@gmail.com.
And if you can, send it my way too, just in case I'm missing some on my list.
Sure. Sue, SUE, SERPA, CERPA.
SERPA.
Wait a second.
SERPA with an S, not with a C.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Post it in the chat. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm so lame.
You're good, Mr. Clogged.
Get better.
Thank you. I'll send it to Sandra too.
Where am I at here? Richard, anything for the group, sir? Nope. There you are. Oh, he's eating. Hang on a second.
I'm just absorbing Jerry's message that Norway beat Brazil at the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Norway. We'll come back to Richard. Lou, Mr. Welge, you there?
Unmute. Yes, sir. I'm done. I'm here and appreciate. I came on kind of late.
Yep.
But you guys are doing a good job. It's good to hear Carl. Carl, man, is really impressing me with all his work. Is he retired? How can he keep? How do any of us keep a roof over our head these days? It seems like to be, because this is all volunteerism.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lou, I haven't heard praise like that very often. Are you smoking something?
No, no, but I
appreciate. I really appreciate it.
You know, you remember talk about propaganda. Remember Reefer Madness? Remember how hemp was criminalized?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of our effort too. This, the drug war. That's why I just recently learned that Jesus is also called Yeshua, YESHUA. So I say, just say yes. Jesus just all right with me. And then another song that we can do is because I'm a strummer, not a picker. I've got a 25-song repertoire, so I'd like to get involved in the music aspect for music therapy's sake. United we stand, divided we fall. And if our back should ever be against the wall, we'll be together, you and I. So thanks so much for the opportunity, and you all have a great week.
You too, Lou. That's I totally missed my. Hang on a sec.
Your badumts.
No, I was going for something other than that one. I was going for
Ah, totally
Oh
killing.
my God, you're killing it
There
now.
we go. Yeah, here we go. Hang on. Here comes the sound. Sorry. I don't know if
The
anybody
gong-
heard that.
That's like the Gong Show.
Yeah, there we go. Not saying anything. Love you, brother. Richard, you back? He's done chewing? Yeah. No, he's eating still. Sean Nagel, anything for the group? Sean, he's looking for the mute. I know he's there. Asked on mute. There it is.
Yep. Nothing. Just thanks for having it.
Right
I'll
on.
probably be requesting some information for meetup times and all that. I'm sure we covered it already, but
Nice. All right. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, definitely keep in touch. If anybody doesn't have my number, you can write my number down. I post it all over the internet, but 724-826-1001. And text me, call me if we're in New York and you're like, hey, trying to find you. 724-826-1001.
Yeah, and we learned from last year to leave enough time and room between blocks of presentations so that we could actually sit down and talk to people and not have to rush from one thing to the next. I mean, last year was just a complete blur. There's so many people we would have wanted to spend more time with, and so we made sure to leave a lot of time.
Thank you. Susie, anything for the group?
Could you repeat your number again? I'm sorry, I didn't get a pen.
No problem. 724-826-1001.
Yeah, he likes to put out our assassination coordinates by posting our address all over social media as well. So
don't do that.
I don't care.
He doesn't care.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Richard.
Don't put out your coordinates.
You're supposed to be protecting your wife there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I don't have any. But I couldn't say that. It would be rude.
You should have gave like the universal. No, that would have meant something else.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
all good.
But
We'll be looking forward to the 19th Crime City Courtroom, episode 6.
Yes. And also at the San Francisco Film Festival, which is in Oakland, Carol didn't get a chance to, or didn't take the opportunity to share what films she was showing.
Oh.
But one of them certainly will be episode 5 of the 9/11 Crime Scene to Courtroom, which is the explosions episode that we saw a couple months ago. So that is going to be exciting for some. Carol, I wanted to ask you, what other exciting films are you going to be showing at your festival?
Well, we're going to have a sneak preview of the world premiere of The Responders. We also are going to have Four Died Trying. I invited Jim Douglas to speak, but he's 89 and his wife had a couple strokes, so he's not available. And we did want to show The Demolition of Truth, Psychologists Examine 9/11 again. And then Crime Scene to Courtroom, episode 5. And we're also going to, the film festival is dedicated to Kyle Hance. So we'll be showing a 15-minute edit of 9/11 Press for Truth. But we just are, again, running out of time. It's just so easy. We're going to have to edit a lot of these. Actually, we need to talk to Ted, Libby, and John about editing down the Responders film just to make room for our program, and also The Demolition of Truth too. I think they're both very long films.
that's the one that Chuck did, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems so appropriate in lieu of the article that Raul just wrote. It's just, right up that alley.
If anybody wants to check more on that, if you go to sf911truth.org, that stands for San Francisco 911truth.org.
Well, actually, correction, we're Northern California. There's not that many people in San Francisco.
Oh.
It's Northern California.
But the domain name is still sf911truth.org, right?
Right, because he lived in SF.
Okay.
And he gifted it to us.
Nice.
Is Bonnie Faulkner going to be hosting?
Yeah, Bonnie will be there.
Well, there she is.
Guns and Butter.
Right.
Yeah, and you see there is a live promotion for Turning the Tide too. But I just put this up. I mean, it's such a pain in the neck to change the date. And I still, John and Libby, they might have come out to speak. And I think maybe if it's Tuesday, not Wednesday, they might be more tempted.
Nice. Thank you, Carol. And thank you, Richard.
Oh, wait, Alan Reese for Sandra. Carol, do you know anybody who knows Alan well enough to know his birthday?
Mac, but he's visiting his kid in upstate New York or somewhere, and we can't reach him. He's the only one who has contact with the guy who destroyed the archive and has maybe a clue of when his birthday was.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Barb suggested that I contact Bonnie Faulkner, but she responded also saying that she didn't have the birthday. So
right, unfortunately.
Thank you, you, Richard. Jetty, anything for the group?
Not a lot. Apart from what I put that PDF in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Hopefully you saw that from 2004. That's Fahim Sadiq. And apart from that, everybody in Scotland just now is eating fajitas and wearing Mexican hats because England are playing Mexico in an hour's time. And apologies to Andrew. Apologies to Andrew there, but we got knocked out very, very early. So our alternative is to revert to supporting anybody that plays England, which is very small-minded, I know. But there you go.
Funny.
There you have it.
I find it most ironic that our best chance for any legal possibilities for 9/11 is now in the UK.
Yeah. Well, I've always said I think we have a better chance outside of the United States to get, and I think NIST were more responsive to me because I wasn't American, for example, and I think that kind of tells its own story, that if you're outside of America, you somehow have a better chance. And it is. Right. The irony of that is crazy. But Roger Waters, I remember saying to Ted about Roger Waters, and I had every faith in that man's humanity. I had no doubt that if he looked at that case, that he would get behind it. And it is really a testament. It would have been so easy for him to go, there's a few dollars, and say nothing. It's a testament to that man's humanity that he's willing to come out and speak the way he is. And
if you have any, if you have any connections to Bruce Dickinson or John Lydon, I'd love to get their buy-in too. But everything I've tried, nobody responds.
Public Image Limited, Johnny Rotten.
Johnny Rotten.
Well, there was a guy called, the musician here called Pete Agnew, who basically has everybody's. I know that he got in touch with Roger Waters,
and Bruce Dickinson being the lead singer of Iron Maiden, so
so there are a few, I don't want to say, but there are a few other people in the music industry over here who are taking an interest in that case, and I believe that Roger Waters' input and him talking about it will inspire them to say, well, it's okay, and just kudos to Roger for putting his head above the trenches like that.
For everyone else's benefit there, I just had this brainstorming session of, we have Roger Waters. Pink Floyd, in my opinion, is the best classic rock band. They're the best band in period. But then there's the UK. So we also have what I consider probably one of the best heavy metal lead singers of all time, which would be Bruce Dickinson, and one of the best punk rock singers of all time, which I think would be John Lydon, otherwise known as Johnny Rotten. If all three of them came out and says, let's get the answer to 9/11, I think across the music world and the impact and the circles of influence they had, I think that'd be a huge...
and rock is where it's at. If you were talking about being anti-establishment and questioning things,
those three genres of music would just crush it.
Rap doesn't really resonate the same way.
Only UK rappers.
Country music.
All right, we digress. I got hands up again before I'm not even through the list. Let me just get through these other two people and I'll go to the hands, and then we'll call it quits. Brian Good, anything for the group? Give you a second to come off mute if you can. If not, it's all good. And Andrew, which I'm not sure if you ever got your mic back.
Last week you had video.
He took 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Nope, he's got nothing. Technical. Okay. Oh, good. Good. But thank you for being here. And I'm not hearing anything from Brian, so let's go to the hands. Sue?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jerry, since Barbara is in Scotland right now, she was going to look you up. Did you two get together?
I had to go and work when she was in Edinburgh, unfortunately. I was going to go over and have lunch with her, and I had to go and work, which doesn't happen very often. I hate working. But yeah, I had to go and work. It was so unfortunate. I was all ready to go, had my train time and everything, and had her hotel, and yeah, sod's law. So hopefully next time.
All right.
This is like a pilgrimage. Everybody goes to Scotland to see Jerry.
That's right. Yeah. But what other reason could you possibly come to Scotland for? There are a multitude. But come on,
it's an ugly country.
No.
No, I know. I'm being sarcastic.
Okay.
I saw him back in 2012. I was one of the first to see Jerry.
Oh, nice.
That's correct. Roslyn Chapel.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Roslyn Chapel.
Yep.
The tour guide recognised Richard.
I was
and
there.
Didn't want to say.
All right.
That's right, Susie. You were, yeah.
Anything else, Sue?
No, that was it.
Thank you, Carl.
Well, gee, what if we got all those stars of the rock world to join all the Liberty veterans down there, and all of us get cited with mandatory court appearances, and Mick can take it into federal court, and it'll be trending on Twitter, and it'll be global news. You know, the First Amendment exercised at Ground Zero. So other than that, just want to emphasize the idea that moving Phil Turney up earlier into the weekend, I think he could be a powerful lead-in to a lot of discussion of false flag terror. And lastly, did you show the pictures I just put in chat with your congressperson?
Yeah, I did see that.
Did you pop them up on the screen for others? Is it possible?
No, I will do that for you. Let's see how this.
Just a quick mention.
Why is it doing for him? I don't know why. It brings up in Zoom chat messages, which I'm not allowed to. Waste time for me, Andra.
Well, I was just going to say, because if you're talking about people who are willing to get arrested,
well, this isn't necessarily not being arrested, but just being given a mandatory appearance citation.
I know. I was making a very, very big leap there because you just triggered something in me. David Schlesinger, who is top of the list of people who like to get arrested, or shouldn't say like to get, but who doesn't mind getting arrested. He sent me an email asking because I guess he's trying to come to the conference, and was asking if there was a possibility of staying with someone. So I know there's not a whole lot of New Yorkers here. Ross is already taking in Magnus, which thank you very much, Ross. Anyways, just putting it out there. If anybody knows of someone that David could stay with and avoid the hotel costs, that would be appreciated.
Nice, I got it. So that is my representative, Mike Kelly. And then
cool.
a couple other pictures.
I just had a picture of the parking lot showing where we met. There's the back of his car with all his offices. Yep, that's it. There's Cannon Office Building to the left. Right in the center is one of the Library of Congress annexes, and over to the right is the Capitol Hill Club and the Republican National Committee headquarters.
Nice.
So do you want me to stop by his office and give him your cell number?
That'd be fine.
Ask him to give you a call.
Well, yeah, I've been in contact with that office at least a half dozen times, and nobody will ever set up the appointment for me to talk to him. I've sent him DVDs. I've sent him, I sent it, what's it called? Certified letters that never get signed. Yeah, odd.
Well, the only thing that caused our conversation was the USS Liberty hat. Now, I'm trying to persuade Phil and the veterans that, I mean, they're still managing their storefront out of the home of one of the survivors and his spouse, and it's on a very small scale. And I tried to persuade them, if just that hat with their domain on the back, ussliberty.org, if they were to put that out through Amazon and start the whole concept of, hey, where in this next year leading up to the 60th anniversary of the Liberty, wear this ball cap, and when people ask you about it, tell them the Liberty story, and it leads right into telling them about 9/11. That's the segue into 9/11 truth.
Thank you, sir. Susie, you're muted. There you go.
Sorry about that. Just to bring back a memory about Scotland is also the Coors family, who actually took Richard and I to Scotland from England during the tour. I know he was very active with regards to 9/11, which is why he supported us. I all just want to give on the activism front here. I did have trying to follow Magnus's lead and going around, showing up at fire stations locally here. But maybe you know, maybe you don't, but we are in serious fire hazards here, and there's not a fireman to be found.
No.
In the Denver metro area that would have any significance anyway. They actually have people babysitting the fire stations while they're out fighting fires. So I also just wanted to make a comment on how pleasurable this call went today. It's good to have peace in the war room. I think I just appreciate everyone's camaraderie, for this common cause. And it was really nice to just have it go really smoothly like it did today. Thanks.
Thank you. I think there's a common clip that Sue reminded me of.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
For those that remember that movie. Anyway, thank you, Susie. Jack.
Yes, Mark Kelly is one of the people who was caught walking down the aisle in one of the government office buildings, and people asked him, "Which country are you most loyal to?" And he said, "Israel." But of course, Mike Kelly is incredible, and I guess he's on our side.
That's wild to hear after I've been trying for years to talk to him, but I'll keep trying.
Maybe I've got the Mark and the Mike confused, but the former astronaut is really speaking out. The representative from Pennsylvania is loyal to Israel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I doubt that, because he doesn't show as having received any AIPAC funds.
Oh yeah, he did 45,000.
Really? I missed that.
Yeah.
Well, as I spoke with him, he didn't seem at all defensive. He listened to the story of the Liberty attack and my suggesting 9/11 was false flag terrorism in furtherance of the Greater Israel Project. He was soaking it all up. So
yeah, it's right here, just real quick. Fetterman is just repulsive at this point, $350,000, but there it is. Mike Kelly, 45 grand. What's 45 grand among friends? I don't know. Some of these are just ridiculous. 482,000 and 924,000 from lobbyist group. I don't care what lobby. You shouldn't be getting that kind of money. It's repulsive. These guys do this. Anyways, 250th anniversary of America. Yay. Sandra, anything for the group?
Yeah, I'm going to make a suggestion. I think that next Sunday you should start with your run around the room.
Okay.
Because we do the turn around the room and we keep coming back to conversations. So next week we start with and we end with the news.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't.
Yeah, exactly. No, I got nothing else.
I don't either.
Nope.
Have a good evening and a great week. Let's talk next week.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.